Hey everyone, welcome back to Tough Lift Podcast. This is your host, Matt Adamczyk. This is episode 14. Today we have Andy Coggins from AllSouth Barbell Club. Andy is joining us from down in Georgia. I've known him for a few years in the weightlifting scene. So I reached out now that I'm starting to have guests on here, and he's definitely somebody that I wanted to have on. He's in a region of the country where weightlifting is definitely booming. There's a lot going on down there. There's always been historically a lot of weightlifting going down there as far as I'm concerned. But I wanted to talk to him kind of just about the scene down there. I actually don't know how he got started. I know about him and have seen him at meets for many years, and we've become friends. But I wanted to just chat with him more. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, and then we're going to talk about just the South in general. Andy, so just if you can, just for our viewers and our listeners, if you can go ahead and just give yourself a little bit of an intro. Who are you, man?
Okay, I'm Andy Coggins. I run AllSouth Barbell, clearly. I am the acting WSO president of Georgia, and I'm on the USA Weightlifting Board of Directors for about a year now. Love weightlifting, love athletics, love powerful athletes. So track, wrestling, anything that is power, I love it. So coming up on an Olympic year, I'm getting a little bit giddy, having fun.
Been a good year so far. There's a lot of battles going on at the top. a lot of high tier stuff going on. Flip flopping. Unfortunately, some hearts will be broke, but I think it's the best for the sport when you have good, healthy.
Definitely a lot of flipping around, but we're having fun. The girls is really competitive. That's the fun thing to watch, and
yeah,
hoping our guys can put it together when they need to really hold some spots or get all three of our men qualified for our spots. Definitely fun to watch and keep up with. Two events to go, I think, Thailand and Bulgaria.
Yeah, as far as I'm tracking. I knew we were coming down to the last couple.
Yeah.
So Andy, what is we'll start with the club. What is AllSouth? Let's start with the name, how you came up with the name, and then when your gym started, how you got started, etc.
Okay. The name, honestly, when I decided I liked it, the goal was to build something that encompassed most of the Southeast and could help grow weightlifting and those sports across that area. Luckily, I've been able to help in Tennessee, Alabama, and South Carolina grow and work together with other clubs and help them learn how to do things and grow their reach. I'm starting to hear that some of the things like that I'm known as the guy in Georgia to talk to if you need to get something done, which makes me feel like that is starting to actually become a thing. That's exciting. We started out of necessity. When I was in my early 20s, I worked at a gym that me and the owner had a difference of opinions in athletic development. I thought that we needed to teach the lifts, whether we taught them in their full variation, snatch, the clean and jerk, the classics, or just a power clean, a hang, power snatch, something like that. I felt that we needed to do that for our athletes. And while there's a bunch of different ways that you can still build explosive power, I just felt like it's always been the best, like move weight,
Yep.
And we did not agree on that, and we butted heads a lot. And so I ended up having to leave that facility, not because I was kicked out. I chose to leave because I wanted something more. And I started coaching at a local high school, private school, and I was their strength coach. I was teaching them the lifts, and these kids went from I'm sorry, I got an emergency real quick. Let me text this. Oh my gosh. Yep. All right, I'm good.
You're good.
And I was teaching the kids the lifts. We were keeping it real simple: snatch, power clean, squat, a little bit of deadlift, some RDL, and a lot of bench press and overhead pressing. And these kids went from a private school that went, 1-12 the year before to 12-1, losing their state championship, right? In their league. And we saw how much just 1 year of strength work benefited them, and the other coaches were just hooked on what we did. So a second year, of course, it got better and better. I moved up to a bigger school, and as I moved to these schools, I had these kids that kind of hung around because they really liked what we did, and so when I got done coaching
Yeah,
football,
just kept kind of following along.
these kids wanted to do more weightlifting because they enjoyed what we had done. They knew that I was competing during the time that I was coaching them and teaching. And so I started teaching myself more about them, more about the lifts, so that I could teach these kids more and start taking them to meets and letting them compete. And it just kind of snowballed from there. Now,
Awesome.
how the actual gym was created, we were just a club for a long time, an idea of a club, not even a sanctioned club.
Mm.
Um, I moved to the north side of Atlanta chasing a female, something I should have never done.
We've all
Uh,
made that mistake, I think, at some
Honestly,
point.
if I hadn't, though, AllSouth would probably not be what it is, because I was still working full time during that transition. I ended up losing my job. We broke up. I went through a depression like most men that think they're in love or whatever. And um, I lost my job. And then it just so happened that all these kids were still there, like, hey, I want to do weightlifting, I want to do weightlifting. And so through that necessity of needing some type of income, I got to a point where I was like, okay, guys, y'all clearly know that I'm good at what I do with this. I'm going to start charging something for my coaching, and it started snowballing from there.
Yeah,
Um, and
about
got
as
to a point,
organic
yeah,
of a story as you can get.
very. 2017, we moved from like just moving around to different gyms and training together, or me driving back down to Noonan, um, into a small CrossFit gym in our area of North Atlanta, and about 500 total square feet. We were there for maybe 2 years before we had outgrown that CrossFit gym. You know how it is, like it's hard for weightlifting clubs to do well in CrossFit gyms because
Yeah.
the owners typically butt heads a little bit. And that's kind of what happened. We got to a point where clients of the CrossFit gym started seeing how much fun we were having, and we were outgrowing the CrossFit gym, not just our population of weightlifters and things like that, but also like we were outgrowing our space where it was getting into their space, and then it was becoming an issue. So we moved into our own brick and mortar in 2019. First space, about 2,000 square feet. Did really well there, grew a lot. We outgrew it. Um, Fast forward through a lot of hard business lessons, and we moved into the
Yeah.
space that we're in now,
I
where
feel you there,
we
man.
tripled our 2,000 square feet up to six, and still just chugging along, creating strong athletes and having a lot of fun doing it.
That's good, man. Yeah, we always remember, I think, the bad business decisions and actually really forget easily the good ones we make. That's all good.
Okay.
So for the listeners that just had their car speakers blown up, Andy's girlfriend just got home, and she's the favorite, clearly.
I think I lost you for a split second.
Yeah, we're having a little bit of lag, so we'll do the best we can with it. Um, yeah, we tend to forget as business owners the great business decisions we make. We always remember the really bad ones, and the great business decisions we always forget easily.
Yeah, absolutely. I had to take down and sit down and reflect to really go over all the good ones and get past
Yeah.
those memories of the bad ones.
Yep. The So that's awesome, man. So yeah, that's funny. I actually knew you. Hearing that, I actually knew you back when you were inside of a CrossFit gym. I thought you were always standalone. That's funny.
No,
So,
we started
so
out.
did
The
you have
actual
any
club
sporting background?
first stood up on its own 2 feet inside of a CrossFit gym. We had 3 lanes of platform that were about 16 feet deep each, and that's it.
Gotcha. Did you have any sporting background? I didn't
Yes,
ask that.
I didn't play in college or anything, but I had in high school football, track, wrestling, and
Okay. Yeah,
then
that's pretty
I
pretty
found
good
my way.
spread, man.
Right, I found my way to to weightlifting afterwards. I didn't even really think of it as I knew it was a sport because I went to the Olympics when I was younger in '96.
Yeah,
Um,
that's cool.
and I just never thought about doing it alongside the other ones.
Yep.
Um, and then I met my coach in 2010, I think. Honestly, I was doing a meet, and he just happened to be there watching me, or in the crowd watching, and I met him via John Coffey about 3 months later, and I didn't even know that he lived in my hometown. Didn't know it.
Yeah.
I could have been doing this 10 years more
That's
before
dude.
that.
That's how I met Bob. Bob
Yeah.
lived down the street from us, and I legit was just like, okay, cool. Mr. Morris, you start next week. You'll be here on Thursdays and Sundays. And legit, that's how Bob started.
That's something funny is like they John Coffey, rest in peace,
Yeah.
um, introduced
If
me
you
to
don't know
my
who John
coach.
Coffey is and
He
you're
said
listening to
that
this, like do
Ben
some
Green
work
coached
and
his
look
men's
up who he
team
is.
way back when Coffey's had men. And he gave one day I was at Coffey's gym and he gave me his phone number. He said, "Why don't you just call this number and you go visit him if he's available, and you come back and see me later and tell me what you think." So I get home that day
Yeah.
after a hard Saturday workout at Coffey's. I called him, and he picks up the phone. You can tell he's an older guy. You can tell, and he's super hospitable. He's like, "Hey, why don't you come out tomorrow night? It's a Sunday, and you can meet a couple of the guys, and we'll see what you're working with." And I was like, "All right." I go out there. It's a barn behind his house. Looks like a little shade tree mechanic garage. I
Yeah.
go in, it's filled with cobwebs, mold, but it's got bumpers, it's got Alico barbells, squat racks, and bench presses.
There you go.
And I meet a couple of the guys. They're about 6 years younger than me that he coached when he was coaching out of high school. And they were still weightlifting, which was really funny. Um, and I told him that John had called him because I had told John had asked me, "Who is coaching you?" And I said, "Well, there's no coaches in Noonan where I'm from. So I've just been taking care of myself, learning what I can from people I know, and going from that." Um, and he had called Ben Green and told him that after I left, and Ben still makes fun of me to the day that I didn't know an Olympic coach from '96 lived in my hometown, let alone Dean Goad and Robin Goad. Didn't know they
Yeah.
were there, like my entire life.
That's
And
funny.
I still get made fun of it's been 10 plus years, and he
That's
doesn't let it go.
that's Yeah, I mean that's the same thing. Bob made fun of me because I didn't know who Schmansky was. Like Norbert Schmansky literally lived right down the street from us up here, and nobody knew who he was. And once I found out, I like made it my mission to go meet this guy before he passed.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah. Um, so yeah, man. So that's solid. So moving kind of through here. So the South has always been interesting to me because I'm up in Michigan. Michigan used to be a really big powerhouse in weightlifting. Through the 60s and 70s, Michigan, Northern Ohio, Illinois, like the Chicagoland area, were really big mainstays of the Olympic weightlifting environment. And then through the 70s, 80s, and 90s, they kind of died out. And then we saw this gigantic resurgence of Olympic lifting in obviously like California, Texas, and then through the southern regions in like Florida, Alabama, um, Georgia. We've seen these big resurgences down there. That's what we see as Northerners. We're extremely jealous. We see, in the southern states, and I don't know off the top of my head of Georgia if you guys do have the high school power or the clubs, the weightlifting clubs. I know Florida does. I've heard that you guys, I think, have powerlifting. I don't know if it's Olympic lifting, but there's way more of it going on down there than up here. Where do you think though that like the South can do better in regards to growing the sport, and or clubs even can just do better in growing the sport and promoting it, especially in the position on the board that you have? Like to anyone listening or coaches or clubs listening.
Well, first, we have a very rudimentary style of weightlifting for high schools. It's kind of an AAU thing that they do. It's bench press, clean, and squat. They haven't gotten to a point where they've started doing what Florida's doing, although our board is working with the Georgia High School Association to try to get more going there. But the problem is that we don't have a lot of educators that have the education to teach it, and that makes it harder, right? Um, Not because like the cost of living is so high nowadays that it's hard to get someone to just give their time for nothing, especially
Yeah.
like if you're outside of the schools. So that's one of our big things. We're all jealous of what Florida has. We look at Florida and we're like, we need that. But we know that we're getting some of it through local high schools. There's probably 15 schools in the state that compete in that AAU lifting. I
Yeah.
have three. I have three
We don't
youth that
have
I
anything.
coach that work through that. Right, y'all don't have anything. I know that it's
No.
not much outside of us, outside of the southeast at all.
Yep.
As far as what we see, as far as growing weightlifting, I think the biggest thing is getting people moving as far as kids at earlier ages. Some of the coaches that I've helped that have a little more time available than I do, I try to encourage them to go out to like youth facilities where they're doing baseball, football, things like that, and talk to the coaches and try to get them to lead a warm up for a game one day or something like that, and then get to a point where you have a relationship, and then go out and say, well, can I demo weightlifting and what it can do for the athletes? And so maybe they see it and they want to do it or try it. And we've found some success with that, especially in Alabama. Um, as far as what I do, right in my little corner of Norcross, Georgia, I went across to the Norcross High School. It's one of the biggest high schools in Georgia. I can throw a rock from my front door and hit it at the gym. And met the athletic director. And this spring, I'm going to host a series of free clinics to the athletes at the high school, where I'll take a bunch of my bigger, stronger athletes over there and show them what you can do, not just cleans in a high school weight room, show you what an actual clean and jerk looks like. And the goal is, because it's free, is to show, especially the football coaches in the South. It's really hard to
Yeah.
let the football coaches know that I'm not trying to take your athlete. I'm trying to make him better. And then, since 90+% aren't going to college, give them an outlet for athletic development post high school football.
Yep.
Um, so go over there, a couple of weeks, and we're going to teach some clinics and get in, and then get to a point where hopefully I can let these coaches know that I'm here in your area. I'm here to help you. Feed your middle schoolers to me, and I'll teach them where when they get to you, they know how to move. So you don't have to
Yep.
teach them, especially with today's generation of video gamers and
Oh,
Fortniters and
careful, careful,
growth.
careful,
It's
careful,
okay. I
careful.
love I
All
love
right.
video games like the best of them, but I know what that can create in younger generations that didn't get a chance to move like we did. Um, and so the goal is to teach them and then become a feeder to help them, but then also let them know that we're here so that when they're done with high school sports, or even for some kids that don't do all the travel stuff where they never get a break, let them
Yeah.
know that we're here in the off season. Come lift, come compete, come make weightlifting something that you can do in the off season. That honestly is a very easy sport to do alongside in season, off season, year round of any sport you're doing.
Yeah. I think
And so education's big.
one of the approaches I've taken in the past when like approaching high school athletics, because they are obviously sensitive about like their top players getting injured because that ruins chances of the team doing well. Stuff like that to avoid it. I've literally gone to the coach and be like, give me literally like your
Bottom
seventh,
feeder.
eighth, and ninth top players, or like give me your worst players and give them to me for the summer,
You cut
and I'll
out
send
again.
them back to you like
Oh,
stronger and more powerful than ever, and you don't have to bother with them. And guess
absolutely.
what? If I don't do well, then they were just not a pain in your ass all summer. Um, and it works. It usually is work, and also I generally have a higher rate of return because they enjoy it versus being like belittled on the track field or whatever's going on
Absolutely.
in
It's the
their
same.
sport.
It's the same thing with
The
the old adage where some kid, you go out for high school football and the starters always get picked to do things. They tell the second stringers to go do fundamental drills. We're down the road. The kid that's doing the fundamental drills is going to be better.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always up here. We always have an issue. ADs, man. ADs are what is it? And I'm gonna probably piss someone off, but like it's always what's in it for me?
Yeah.
What's in it for me? Before I go talk to my coaches, what's in it for me if we work with you guys? And it's like, dude,
It's
like
it's like that down here too.
your youth will be healthy. Your athletes will have better health and less injuries. Like you will have a 30% injury rate in your fucking female soccer team of 14-year-olds. Like, I don't know what makes sense.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so that's some good tips. I like the pipeline tip you gave of like telling them to help promote the middle schoolers working with you before they get to the high school, because it's all about like getting less work for the coach. If you can get them to feel like they don't have to work as much, it's almost like a line my dad says of like, get people to eat shit off a golden platter.
That's exactly right.
It's like, well, if I don't have to work hard and you do all the hard work, they'll be easier for me. That's a good relationship.
Absolutely.
So awesome, cool tips, man. All right, so we're gonna kind of segue to our last piece here. We're gonna play a little game here. I like to keep these things lighthearted, so I'm gonna share screen. Andy, with you being our AllSouth, we're gonna call you our resident Southern here.
I'll take it.
Yep. I did spend some time in the South. I was deployed. I was stationed rather in the South. I was in North Carolina, if you call North Carolina the South. I was also in Georgia over there for a while at Fort Benning near
Columbus.
Yep. C-bus, if you will. That amazing city. Quite a town, that's what I'll say. But we're gonna do a game. Is it Southern? And you, as the resident Southerner, can let us know, and then we'll talk about some other Southern topics here. But so those of you that are hardcore Northerners or never spent some time down there. So our first one is going to be the Waffle House. Is the
100%.
Is it inclusively Southern?
I would not say it's inclusively Southern because I actually ate Waffle House when I was in Colorado Springs. But I will say that it's probably more of a staple of everyone's diet in the South than it is anywhere else.
I would agree. We've all had, I think, this night down here that these two gentlemen are probably going through. Once, twice, or 5,000 times in our lives. Duck Dynasty, Andy. Do we claim this in the South or no?
No, that's just TV.
Is this fake or real?
I can't. I think it's real, but I think there's a lot of staging.
Lag here.
There's a lot of staging, but I mean it's probably real enough.
Real enough. Biscuits, Andy. Is this inclusively Southern?
Depends on how they're made. But
okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So what does that mean? What makes it a Southern biscuit versus a Northern one?
Well, is it homemade? Was it made in grandmother's, hands? Was it balled up the right way and made like that, or?
I don't trust you. You said grandmother, and I know you guys don't call her grandmother down there.
Well, I was trying to make sure that everyone understood me instead of saying
you're
granny.
being linguistically intelligent.
Yeah, I would claim biscuits as a whole, absolutely.
Okay, and is a scone just a shittily made biscuit then?
Absolutely. Terrible.
Okay. So for our viewers, where does the South start? What states are the South, Andy?
Okay. I would go the southern tips of Virginia.
Oh,
like very, very southern tips, like the line. North Carolina, Tennessee, Arkansas. I would say
like
Louisiana.
Right
Louisiana
here?
And all that. And then down. Florida can't be considered the South. That's
shit. We're omitting Florida?
Well, because it's its own country, basically. Like Florida Man and all that.
Andy, what about like Panhandle? It's really fucking weird there, man.
I mean, it's weird there, but like, it's not the same.
Yeah, but
It's
let's call
different.
it like it is. Most of Florida is my people, Michigan.
Okay,
But there is no weirdo Michigans in northern Florida.
I'll say that there are parts of northern Florida that can be just like Georgia or just like
Uh-huh.
Alabama, but
Uh-huh.
I think that Florida is its own, just completely different
I'm going to say
country,
one word.
basically.
I'm going to say one word that makes northern Florida a part of your state.
Okay.
Muddin.
Okay.
We don't
All
do
right.
that in
Fine.
Michigan.
Muddin. That's fine. Yeah. Okay. And then Texas, I think that it's probably considered southern, but just like
We're putting
Florida, it's
Texas in the South?
it's its own thing though, just the same way. Like it's its
Wait,
own
we got
thing, just
lag.
like
We had
Florida.
lag there. We had lag there. What are we calling Missouri and Arkansas?
Missouri is going to be with us. Louisiana's one with
Southern?
us. Yeah.
Thank God. You know how many times I debate that Missouri is not Midwest?
Yeah, that I don't think that they're
Fucking
very. I
people
think
try to put it in the Midwest. I say get
no,
the fuck out. No.
no. I don't think if you want to get into college football though, I don't think that Missouri belongs in the Southeastern Conference.
Andy, I'm not even going to try to argue with you in Georgia about anything with football. We both know I don't even pay attention to it. All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. It is basically here. This is the South officially.
Yeah, definitely. And if you want to boil it down even more, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you aren't in those three, your Southern card can be pulled at any time.
yeah. Damn. Okay, there it is. All right, so then this is the question that's going to probably piss off a bunch of people. This is Nashville, Andy.
You lagged out.
You have a picture where there's country music, barbecue, fiddles. Andy, is
Uh,
Nashville Southern?
Nashville, no,
Oh, all right.
no. I don't
Heard it
know many
here.
Southerners that enjoy going to Nashville.
Luke Bryant.
Like
Is
true
the South
Southerners. I'm
claiming
not
Luke
talking
Bryant?
about people who want to go out and drink and club and stuff. Absolutely not. Who's that? Luke Bryan?
We caught some lag, so I'm waiting on the response. Is Luke Bryant?
Yes.
Is Luke Bryant?
Stadium country is not country.
Okay, so we're not taking it.
No, absolutely not.
But he's on a rusted pickup truck.
But his flannel doesn't have any rips on it.
All right, so here's some questions on the South for our viewers and listeners. Which one of these is Coke?
Which one of these is Coke? Is there a picture coming up?
Yeah, yeah. Which one of these is Coke?
No, I'm not seeing anything but Luke Bryan.
Are they playing through again?
Nope, still just seeing Luke Bryan.
All right, let me see if I can stop it and reset it. Share screen. Do you see it now?
Okay, I see Q's on the South.
Okay. So which one of these are Coke?
Most people in the South would say all of them, but everything but those last two on the end.
Okay. All right. Got it. Can you tell me what this is up here? What's this called?
That's a juror section.
A box? A what? A what box?
Juror's box,
Okay. And what's this called?
jewelry box.
Oh, okay. All right. That was good. That was good. Usually we don't hear that good of enunciation. I'm proud of you.
If you listen to my twin brother, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Okay. That's all my leadership in the army was all Southerners. So I
Hmm.
got really good at shit talking Southerners. It was almost like a second job.
I
They
mean,
were
you should.
all from Alabama and Georgia. And then I had one from Texas. All I did was shit on the South. It was hilarious. I got really good at it. In a fun way, obviously. All
Absolutely.
right, Andy. So as a coach, because you guys speak a different language down there, how many t- how many times have you said this type of shit to your athletes or to like
Uh,
other athletes?
are we talking
And
about
then
the three?
tell Yep, so I'm going to pray for you. which
I've,
actually means in the South.
are you asking me or telling me what it means?
We caught some lag. 1 second.
I lost you again. There you are.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna pray for you. Actually means.
You got to do better.
Okay. Have you ever said that? Have you ever
I've
gotten that
never
straight?
I've never said that to someone like that. No.
Okay. All right. What about an athlete shows you a
That's
video where they
interesting.
think they
Said
did
it a bunch of
better,
times. Like, that's
or
interesting.
they think it was a good lift? Did you ever look at them and go, "That's interesting"?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't think of what my
That
way of saying that is.
that's Southern for.
That's Southern for no. That's not how we do
This
it.
one, this one you hear with food a lot when somebody makes a
Hmm.
really shit ass recipe.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the famous "bless your heart."
I don't say that much either. But I bet if you talk to some of my athletes, they would tell you what my saying for each of those three tiers is.
What,
But
what
it's
would they
not.
be?
But it's. I don't know. Honestly, you put me on the spot.
But you have your phrases.
I have them, and if you talk to one of the athletes like Jacob, he could tell you exactly what it is. Um,
Okay.
because like all my, especially my guys, they bring out all the disappointment.
Bless your heart is like Southern for like, oh man.
Poor baby.
Yeah.
Mm,
All right,
those are
man.
good.
Well, yeah, it was fun, man. All right. Well, I appreciate your time, Andy. If people want to find you or find All South, where can they find you?
The best way is probably Instagram at AllSouth Barbell or at AllSouth Athletics. We run two Instagrams for two different parts of our gym. Or coach.andyc on Instagram is my personal. And then outside of that, I'm not giving my phone number. I'm not giving my email. But they can find that just about anywhere they need to. Um, yeah, that's the best place to find me. And if you're ever in the north side of Atlanta, need a place to train, reach out. We have a great environment and lots of great equipment, mostly supplied by this guy taking my money. And
Not by me
come use
directly,
it.
but the company I
Come
work for.
come use it.
Soccer Barbell. Awesome, Andy. I appreciate your time. Thank you, guys. If you like this, please check him out. Follow his stuff. If you like what we're doing here, please like and subscribe as always on YouTube or Spotify. Have a good day. Adios.